Here we go, chat. Last day of the event. And to finish it off, we're gonna claim our rewards with a new outfit. Sure, here. Photo shoot lucky bag. What skin did I win? Claim. Oh, Laffy. Oh! It's her. Yes. Nice. Shimakaze. I guess. Let's test out the skin. Photo shoot. No head pets? What about a special touch? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And what else? What were the skins then? Could I buy a skin? Takeo? Nah. Should I get the new skin for the new girl? No. Maybe next event I'll spend some gems. But here, let's finish the last build. Alright, do I have enough space? I have enough space. Let's finish all.
I was renown級14戦艦レパルスビスマルクの追撃に参加したけど追いつけなかったんだ。それからはずっと Z 部隊。
Okay.
もう魚
The fuck? How indeed? Amagi-chan, no, protect. Pledge to protect. Chikuma, we're getting a lot of Sakura Empire. Yeah. Hajimemashite. Alberto, we finally got you again. Third time's a charm, right? Gorgeous blonde wife, bro is spamming his comment first everywhere. No, she didn't do it first. Right. Shonen. Watashi wa. Okay. Good pull. Good last pull. Event was worth it. And now we just have to grind. Alright, let's just enjoy. Enjoy the gameplay.
Start already. This one actually has some backing up from me anecdotally, and I think most Gundam or Mecha fans can agree that this is a great recommendation. So there you go. Starting off with one that I haven't seen yet, but I've been wanting to give a go. Already a good start. Number 24, we got Trigun, the original Trigun, which is fantastic. I also highly recommend Trigun Stampede, which is the, I guess, reboot, spiritual successor to Trigun. That was also absolutely fucking incredible. My god, this show is so good. Such a classic. Still looks amazing to this day. As you can see, we got Madhouse boys back in the late 90s who were just on top of their shit. So yeah, both. Definitely both. Trigun and Trigun Stampede. And I think there's the new one coming out, right? Trigun Vanquish or whatever it is. I forgot what the new series of Trigun that is coming out, but I'm looking forward to that a lot. I enjoyed Stampede a lot. So yeah, there you go. Good choice already. All right, let's see if we can keep this going. Number 23, Wolf's Rain. Wolf's Rain mentioned in 2026. What the hell? Oh wow, I was not expecting a Wolf's Rain mention, but I am very pleasantly surprised. Few anime are quite as much as of an emotional gut punch as Wolf's Rain. The anime takes place in a disturbing future on the verge of collapse. Wolf's Rain was ahead of its time. Facts. Wolf's Rain was so ahead of its time, as its plot had a large focus on the emotional fallout of living in a world doomed by climate change. Yeah, something that I believe is just called reality today. Also gorgeous with beautiful visuals and an absolutely haunting soundtrack from the legend herself, Yoko Kanno. Yeah, legit. Like, a lot of people forget how good of a soundtrack Wolf's Rain was, even in the catalog of Yoko Kanno's work. You know, a lot of people are very quick to talk about, you know, the Cowboy Bebops and your Zankyo no Teroru and stuff like that, which are all
Dragon
amazing
Traveler.
soundtracks, don't get me wrong, but Yoko Kanno fucking killed it with Wolf's Rain. My god, it's so good. The fact that this show is over 20 years old now is shocking to me. I remember when I watched this back in the mid-2000s, and my mind was fucking blown with how beautiful this show was. So yes, definitely. Good job, Screen Rant, for giving Wolf's Rain a shout out. Number 22, Neon Genesis Evangelion. Okay, look. I'll give Screen Rant this one. We had to have at least one kind of quote-unquote mainstream show, I guess. I legitimately thought Neon Genesis Evangelion was going to be in like the top 5, but the fact that it's down at the 22s is surprising. Granted, again, I don't even think you could have even you could have honestly left this one out of the list, and I don't think anyone would have been mad, because again, much like the One Pieces and the Narutos and the Bleaches, who doesn't know what Neon Genesis Evangelion is at this point? Even if you've never seen it,
Me, I forgot what it was about.
Know the name, you know of its existence. So, honestly, you could have just left it out on the list entirely, and I wouldn't have been mad. Oh! Did I make this list? What the fuck? Serial Experiments Lane. This is the only time we will ever see a list where SEL is above NGE, and I am not upset with that at all, because yes, too many people are sleeping on SEL. Too many. There is a reason why this is my favorite anime of all time. This is a show. I mean, if Wolf's Rain blew my mind when I watched it the first time, Serial Experiments Lane continues to blow my mind. Because, as the blurb here perfectly says, Serial Experiments Lane is a difficult series to describe. The quintessential turn-of-the-century cyberpunk anime is about a young girl whose life becomes increasingly strange after the death of a classmate named Chisa. And honestly, that's just like one tiny bit of the iceberg, because there is so much in this show, and I will continue to sing Lane's praises until the day I die. There is so much about this show that, even though this was made in 1998, was so ahead of its time, because it perfectly portrayed and perfectly predicted what humanity was going to go through exactly today, in the sense of the internet, in the sense of people can't distinguish between what is real in reality versus what is on the internet, or as was described in Lane, The Wired. Like, yes, this is a confusing as shit show that is incredibly art housey, but if you can get past that slight bit of pretentiousness, however you want to describe it, it is an absolute mindfuck of a show, and I highly recommend you guys watch this, because even if, look, and I'm just going to say this up front, I've watched SEL probably from start to finish a good half dozen times. I still find new stuff about it. I'm still trying to like decipher what exactly the show is about, and hopefully when I get to that point I'll be able to make a full proper video on it that does it justice. But until then, this show is incredible. And also, Yoshitoshi Abe's art is just so sick. Like, it's so fucking sick. And I'll never get over how awesome this show is. So, fuck me, man. Screen Rant, so far, you're striking 4 for 4. This is insane. Alright, let's see if they keep this up. Number 20, Ping Pong the Animation. 5 for 5? Ping Pong the Animation is so good, dude. It's so good. And you know what's the best part about it as well? It's not even a sports anime. It's a human drama. It is a human drama anime wrapped up in a sports anime. And you don't even have to give a fuck about ping pong, because I sure didn't when I watched this, but holy shit. It's so good. And Tatsunoko Productions killed it with this shit. God damn. This was the show that made me fall in love with Masaaki Yusa's style, and ever since I've watched everything that man has created, because he is one of the most unique, visually unique rather, and I guess experienced unique anime directors out there in the field of what a lot of people will probably agree with me on as being a medium that has a lot of weird shit out there. He makes that weird shit look normal with his works. It's so crazy to think that he made this, in 2014? Jesus Christ. Give Ping Pong the Animation a go. Give most of Masaaki Yusa's stuff a go if you're bored of modern anime. I know a lot of people are. Number 19, Gurren Lagann. Okay, again, this one is fine. You know, this is really telling of my era that as an anime enjoyer, because if you ask anyone from my era of anime fans if they've watched Gurren Lagann, that would be the dumbest question I could ask, because the answer is obviously going to be yes. There is no one in my age group who grew up with anime who hasn't watched and who hasn't enjoyed the shit out of Gurren Lagann. But I do also understand now and realize that the show is almost fucking 20 years old. Do you feel old yet? So I'm sure there is actually quite a large number of newer anime fans who got into the medium maybe during the pandemic who have no idea what the fuck a Gurren Lagann even is. And if you are one of those people, do yourself a favor, go and watch this, because all of those trigger shows that you enjoy, they wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this show. Number 18 is Monster. Oh my... Okay, Deadass so far, this is the best anime top list that I have ever seen. This is legitimately the best top list I've ever seen. I'm not even sponsored by Screen Rant. This is peak so far. They've nailed it so far. Although I am going to say, I do think that Monster should be a little bit higher on the list, personally speaking, but I also do understand that it might be a genre that is a little bit harder to get into for today's viewing standards. It is a lot longer in terms of episode length. I think there's like 74 episodes of this or something. And it is a little bit more on the slower side of things, as it is a, you know, Urasao Naoki crime, mystery, psychological horror. But my god, this story is so goddamn good. This is one of those few shows that really makes you truly appreciate the intricacies and the really unique atmosphere that a story like this can drive out of Japanese animation. I feel like this is one of the few shows that only works in anime. And in manga, obviously, because it started off as a manga. Like, I'm sure a live action of Monster could work, but I don't think it'll be as effective as how they portrayed it in the manga and anime, because there's something about it that is so uniquely manga and anime, and it does it to the best of its abilities. If you love your psychological drama and your crime horror and stuff like that, you're gonna absolutely love this. If you're a true crime horror girly, you gotta watch this show, man. It's chef's kiss. Number 17 is Fruits Basket.
The original one.
I mean, I hope they are referring to the remake of Fruits Basket. The first version of Fruits Basket was fine. It was fine. Look, it was going up against a manga that was a little bit harder to, I guess, adapt back in the day, considering the fact that they changed a bunch of story beats from the original manga, and then this newest version of Fruits Basket kind of came in and fixed all of that and made everything a lot more prettier. So I'm not going to say the original Fruits Basket was necessarily bad, but the newer Fruits Basket, which I believe is the 2019 version, definitely is the one that you should be checking out. This Fruits Basket remake is awesome, and it really does fit more in line with how the original manga was. But if you don't want to read the original manga, there you go. There's this show as well. You know, look, okay, again, Screen Rant. You're including some shoujo in here as well? There are so many fucking publications that talk about anime that almost forget the existence of shoujo anime and how important and impactful it is as a genre, because so many people are just sucking the hard dick of a shonen manga anime and completely forgetting about, you know, the other genres and the other demographics. So, well done. Well done, Screen Rant, for including a solid shoujo pick. Number 16 is Mushishi. Okay, confirmed. This is the best list, hands down. This is the best. Again, did I make this list? What the fuck? Did I subconsciously sneak into the Screen Rant office and write up this list? Because this is a list that I would make, legit. Again, Mushishi, beautiful show. Beautiful show. Yes, it is on the slower side. Yes, it is a little bit more on the subtler side, a little bit more on the mature side of how it expresses its dramatic elements and its human drama elements. But my god, it is like, I've always said Mushishi is the 3-hour ASMR to fall asleep to, or the lo-fi beats to study to equivalent of anime. It is just this gorgeous display of human drama that uses a little bit of, you know, fantasy elements and mystery elements to really portray some really interesting human stories, and it does so, again, in just the most beautiful way possible. I mean, this is legitimately, and the manga as well, is legitimately one of the most beautiful shows that I have had the pleasure of experiencing. So yeah, please give it a go. Please check it out. If you want to. Number 15, Cyberpunk Edge. Boys, this can't be real. This can't be real. We're almost halfway through this list, and there hasn't been a single miss. How is this possible? I mean, look, you guys should know by now how much I fucking love Cyberpunk Edge Runners. My clothing brand did an entire collab with them. Like, it was literally the first anime collab I wanted to do with my clothing brand. That's how much I fucking love Cyberpunk Edge Runners. So honestly, I don't really need to say anything more than that because it's goated. It's amazing. I don't care what you say. Trigger went above and beyond with this show, and I can't contain my excitement for the season 2 that's going to come out. This show is freaking awesome. Number 14 is Odd Taxi. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. We're 14 out of 25 and there hasn't been a miss. Odd Taxi is also amazing. Fuck. If you've never seen any of these shows that I am talking about, do yourself a favor, okay? Please do yourself a favor. Stop watching the shitty seasonal isekais and actually watch some good anime, because there's already 14 out of 25 shows on this list that you could be checking out right now that will actually make you fall in love with the medium. These are the shows that made me fall in love with the medium in the various timelines that I watched these shows in throughout my life. Like, this is crazy. This is honestly crazy. Yes, Odd Taxi is also an amazing show. I haven't seen the movie. I definitely want to, but the anime was great. It was surprisingly good, because you look at an art style like this and you're like, what is this show, whatever, and then you actually give it a go and it's like, wow, this is great. I relate to this so much. Number 13 is Penguin Drum. I'm sorry, I blew out the microphone, I think, but holy fuck, Mawaru Penguin Drum referenced in 2026. That's crazy. Penguin Drum is really about the fallout of the sarin gas attacks that rocked Japan in 1995. With that bit of context, so much else about the series that previously seemed inexplicable snaps into place. The constant visual motifs invoke subway systems. Even the logo hints at this with the Circle 95. Yeah, I mean, you kind of hit it on the nail right there. And again, I remember when I first found out about this show, I watched it and I was like, it's alright. And then when I went to rewatch the show after hearing about this, you know, Om Shinrikyo sarin gas attack information, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're talking about something completely different, and I weirdly think it's cool, really cool and artistic. This one is, I would say, a little bit more on the adult side in terms of its themes and how it expresses it, but if you're into shows like that, then yeah, I think this is one that you really need to check out. Penguin Drum is a sleeper. Penguin Drum is definitely an underrated classic. You know what? I feel like I need to go and rewatch it, because again, I haven't seen it in a long time, but I do remember enjoying it back in the day. But it's really cool, again, that we get to see it in a list like this, because God knows other publications are not touching Penguin Drum with a 6-foot pole. Number 12 is... yeah, okay, sure, I guess. Alright, look, before all the Dragon Ball fans start getting on my ass for that reaction, I fucking love Dragon Ball. I own all the manga. I grew up watching it when I was a kid. I love it. Alright, I understand how much of a classic that it is. But in terms of it being on a list like this, I think it's kind of unnecessary. Again, everybody already knows what Dragon Ball is. Even your fucking grandma. Go and ask your grandma what Dragon Ball is, and they'll probably say, oh, the one with Goku, right? So I understand why you would want to include a show like Dragon Ball in a list like this, because again, it is quite old now, and even though our generation knows Dragon Ball Z inside out, maybe the newer generation who didn't grow up with Dragon Ball Z has no idea what this kind of shit is. But I just still think that it's too much of a main mainstream show for it to be necessary in a list like this. And also, if we're being technical here, I genuinely would not recommend the anime. I would definitely recommend the manga. The manga, I think, has aged like the finest of the finest wines, because Toriyama's art has just existed as just the most unique style and the most unaged style in all of manga history, in my opinion. But then when they turned it into a TV anime series, they padded the fuck out of it by making episodes way too dragged out, way too overly long. I mean, I still remember, you know, when Goku first turns into Super Saiyan 3, for example, and fights Boo. You know, a lot of, in my mind, right? I don't exactly know the numbers. Maybe someone can fact check this, but in my mind, that fight between Super Saiyan 3 Dragon Ball, Super Saiyan 3 Goku versus Boo, is like 3 episodes long. In the manga, it's like 4 pages. And that's just one of many examples of them padding the fuck out of the anime to cover as many episodes as possible for TV standards, right? So when you go back and watch it without having to wait every single week for a new episode, it just is so slow. It's so dragged out. You could spend half the time reading the 36, 37 volumes of the manga with it having little to no padding whatsoever and get just as good of an experience, in my opinion. So yes, I fucking love Dragon Ball so much. Dragon Ball's an amazing show, but I just don't think it was necessary on this list. Look, not all things can be perfect, alright? We're gonna have a couple of L's, but hey, that's alright. It took until number 12 for this list to hit an L. I'm okay with that so far. Number 11 is Pluto, and just like that, they're back, baby!
They're back!
Yes, 100% yes. Pluto is amazing! Look, some people might be sitting there in the comments being like, it's a little bit unfair that there are 2 Urasawa Naoki shows in a list of 25 shows, but that's
should I build her?
How goated Urasawa is, big dog. I don't make up the rules. Pluto is amazing, not only because of it being Urasawa Naoki, but also the fact that this is technically like a spiritual successor or set in the same universe as Astro Boy, which, for those of you who don't know, is the whole reason why anime exists in the first place. Naoki Urasawa and Takashi Nagasaki's original Pluto manga was a brilliant reinterpretation of Tezuka's work, and the anime adaptation only furthers what already made the manga so powerful. Pluto's greatest strength is its more introspective nature. 100% agree. As much as I can recognize the GOATs, like Astro Boy and like Tezuka, Urasawa Naoki and Nagasaki Takashi managed to take that universe somehow and just up the ante, make the world so much richer and more dystopian and dark, but to the point where you wanted to know what was going on. I've actually heard a lot of people who watched Pluto who then ended up reading or checking out the original Astro Boy just because they were that interested in the world that was presented in this show. So yeah, definitely the sleeper hit of the 2020s. Pluto is amazing, the manga is also amazing, and hell yeah, it's a screen rant for including this in the 11th spot. But we're approaching the top 10 now. So far, this list has been fucking crazy. Apart from maybe a couple of shows that didn't need to be on here, every single show so far has been a great show. So let's go into the top 10 and see what they have to offer. At number 10, we've got... Oh, man. You were doing so well. Alright, listen. Berserk is one of my favorite manga series of all time. But we're not talking about manga here, are we? We're talking about the 25 best anime to watch. And if there is a series that is the most controversial when it comes to the changes from the manga to the anime, it's Berserk. Okay, judging from the date, I assume they're referencing the original TV series, the late 90s version, and not the 2012 series, film series or the 2015-2016 anime series. Good, because if I had to pick a Berserk anime, it would definitely be the late 90s version. But even still, I wouldn't put it on this list, especially not at a number 10. If we're talking about 25 best manga to read, then hell yeah, Berserk would be in my top 5, probably, definitely in the top 10. But the anime is just, it just didn't capture it. It just couldn't capture Miura's grittiness and rawness and the pure doom and gloom of the world of Berserk. I mean, the 90s version definitely got very close. It got the atmosphere correct, but just you know, the limitations of animation back in the day just couldn't quite capture the spirit of Miura's drawings. And so we all thought, collectively, oh, going into the 2000s, going into the 2010s, we might get, with the advance in animation technology and maybe a fresher mind and fresher look on this classic story, we might be able to get something that's fucking insane. And then we ended up with the atrocity that was the 2016 CGI anime. Number 9 is Sunny Boy. Again, yes. 100% yes. Shingo Natsume might honestly be one of the most underrated anime creators out there. And this is, I would say, his magnum opus. Sunny Boy is fucking amazing. It's undeniable that Sunny Boy is not going to appeal to everyone. The series provides a scant few explanations for the many absurd things that happen to the protagonist Naga and his classmates, so viewers looking for some concrete explanation will probably leave disappointed. However, what the series lacks in logic more than makes up for an atmosphere and nuance. Abso-fucking-lutely. My god, these writers, they know what they cooked with this article, dude. God damn. All of this creates a poignant parable for Gen Z's unique struggles. Few other series explore what it means to be on the line between childhood and adulthood, like Sunny Boy, and the result is surreal and wholly unique. In the same way that Penguin Drum is a quintessentially millennial anime, Sunny Boy captures the spirit of Gen Z. Yes, I agree, but that doesn't mean that millennials can't enjoy Sunny Boy either. I think, if anything, millennials and especially millennial anime fans will almost even appreciate Sunny Boy more than the Gen Zers, I dare say. It's kind of crazy that it got a 6.2 out of 10 on Screen
I need one more. How do I get one
it's
more?
definitely higher than a 6.2, that's for fucking sure. Sunny Boy's amazing. Shingo Natsume is incredible. Madhouse was just at their A game with this one. You definitely need to check this one out. Good job for it being in the top 10. I would also probably put this in my top 10 as well. Number 8 is Puera Magi Madoka Magica. Now, again, this one, if you are a millennial anime fan, should be pretty obvious. This one, if you grew up watching anime in the mid-2000s and, you know, mid-2010s like I did, then not knowing Madoka Magica is basically outing yourself as not an anime fan. But I guess now, with it being almost, 15 years since Madoka Magica first came out. Actually, yeah, it's 2026, so it's been 15 years since Madoka Magica first came out. They might not know what a Puella Magi Madoka Magica even is. They might look at this and being like, oh, it's a Sailor Moon ripoff, which you would 100% be incorrect on, because if you do think that, then you don't know the power that is Gen Urobuchi, the creator of Madoka Magica. Oh yeah, I also forget that this was Shimbo Akiyuki and Shaft Studios as well, who, if you don't know, same director, same studio that made the Monogatari series, a show that you all know I freaking love. Madoka Magica isn't great because of its multiple dark twists. Much like its protagonist, Madoka Magica is hopeful despite the abundant tragedy surrounding it. While many bad things happen on the road to Madoka Magica's ending, those dark elements make the series shine all the brighter. I agree, you know, a lot of people first chalked up Madoka Magica as being the magical girl show where a lot of bad horror things happen, and yeah, it definitely did kind of quote-unquote deconstruct the magical girl genre in that sense. It wasn't the first one to do it. It wasn't the first magical girl show to present horror elements or anything like that. It was just a really solid show that took you for a spin and thought it was going to drag you in one side, but with a couple of twists later, it tells a completely different story that is just as powerful, if not more of a powerful experience than before. It almost reverse clickbaited you in that sense into thinking you were just going to watch a standard magical girl show, and then, not anymore actually. I'm really happy that Screen Rant is giving it some light, because I genuinely do wonder how the average anime fan of today will look at a show like this. I'm quite curious. Number 7. Revolutionary Girl Utena. What happened to online publications since I've been gone that has made them so fucking based? Like, I've legitimately never seen a list that put Utena over Madoka Magica. That's crazy. But yes, Revolutionary Girl Utena, in the name, it says it all. This show was revolutionary. This show completely changed the identity that is the queer representation in anime. Look, it even says here in the opening blurb, in an era where queer representation in anime and entertainment at large was often relegated to one-dimensional stereotypes or supporting characters, Utena had the strength of conviction to put its queer romance front and center with its two main characters. And what main characters they are. Utena and Anthe are both quite likable protagonists, making their journey together all the more beautiful. I 100% agree, yes. To say Kunihiko Ikuhara's Revolutionary Girl Utena was ahead of its time would be an understatement. 100% agree. This was made in the late fucking 90s, dude. Like, no other show was doing this. Utena's insistence on being the valiant prince of her story instead of the princess was a brilliant subversion of classical fairy type tropes. Few pieces of television have so much to say about the constraints of gender. Much like the previously mentioned Sunny Boy and Penguin Drum, this is a series meant to be dissected and analyzed, so don't go in expecting everything to make total sense on first viewing. Far from the negative though, this is one of the series' strongest points. Few other anime series are as rewarding on rewatch as Revolutionary Girl Utena. I'm really glad that Screen Rant, or these writers of Screen Rant here, are including this show because, again, especially now in a world where so many streaming services are trying to make shows that are catered towards certain groups of people, it's just really nice to see a show that actually did it because they thought that there was a potential to tell a really unique and interesting story, and they sure fucking did with this show. Number 6 is Erika 7. Okay. Look, I love Erika 7. Would I put it in the top 6 above Revolutionary Girl Utena? Maybe not. I mean, don't get me wrong. Erika 7 is the coolest thing you'll ever see. If you want to watch Nikke riding a fucking surfboard in the air and shooting shit up, if that doesn't sound like the coolest thing ever, then I don't know what to tell you, bro. And granted, Erika 7 did have a sequel, Erika 7 AO, or A0, whatever it was. I don't remember the exact title because it wasn't that great. Oh, they even say it at the bottom here. Fans of Erika 7 should avoid the sequel anime A0 at all costs. It's genuinely that bad. Well, I'm glad we agree. I'm glad we agree that it was genuinely that bad. Yes, the original Erika 7 is amazing, even if you're not a fan of mecha. Also, one of the most iconic openings of the mid-2000s as well. Again, I don't know if I would put it in my top 10. Definitely, you know, in my top 20 or 30 for sure, but yeah, this is a great show, and if you haven't given it a go, then I highly recommend it. Number 5 is Kaiba! Kaiba! What the fuck? I'm like legitimately about to cry. This list is like near perfect right now. In my 12 and a half fucking years of being on the internet talking about anime, I would have never imagined in my wildest dreams that we would get a online publication like Screen Rant giving Kaiba a shout out. That's crazy. Kaiba is one of the strangest anime ever made, and that's also why it's one of the best. Based. Though the result might not visually appeal to everyone, it's wholly unique, giving this series an atmosphere that is at once crushingly lonely and arrestingly beautiful. If that wasn't enough, the series' soundtrack is ethereal and haunting in all the right places. There's a dreamlike quality to Kaiba that makes it endlessly fascinating. I agree. The first time I found Kaiba, I think it was this exact poster that I saw on some like online forum back in the day. Oh god, that made me sound unk as fuck. When I saw that, I thought it was like some old Disney film, like, you know, some like rubber hose animation style shit. But then when I found out that it was a Japanese anime, I immediately was like, I have to watch this show. And look, is it like the most perfect show out there? Definitely not. You know, there's some storytelling elements that I think are a little weak in some parts, but it is, as this blurb perfectly says, it is incredibly unique. And I do kind of agree, it does feel like very much like dreamscapey. It doesn't feel like a real anime, if you get what I'm trying to say here. More than just a pretty series, Kaiba is thought-provoking. This is a series that will have viewers questioning their own sense of identity as Kaiba searches for his own. Yes, the series is often weird, but never in a way that feels random or pointless. Every strange event or character is in service to the larger narrative and themes. Kaiba might be an unconventional pick for one of the greatest anime series, but beauty of this caliber deserves a higher rank. I gotta give a standing ovation for that last paragraph, bro. That was crazy, dude. Couldn't have said it better myself. Number 4, we've got Full Metal Alchemist. Again, Full Metal Alchemist is great. Don't get me wrong. And I'm trying so hard not to sound like a fucking contrarian here, but I wouldn't put it on a list like this. Because again, who doesn't know what Full Metal Alchemist is? I would say that Full Metal Alchemist, in terms of the online anime community, is just as well known, if not more well known, than some of the most mainstream shows out there, like a Naruto or a Bleach or a One Piece. Because whenever, even to this day, whenever you try to convince someone to go and watch anime for the first time, what's the show that keeps getting brought up? One Piece? Dragon Ball? No, it's Full Metal Alchemist, especially Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. And the simple reason being is that even to this day, it's still sitting at the top of my anime list as the highest rated anime ever. If it's not in the #1 spot, it's at least in the top 5. Like, this is the show that put so many people onto what we now know as anime in the West. So yes, I'm not going to deny that this is a fantastic show. Don't get me wrong. I just don't really think it's necessary on a list like this because everybody knows what FMA is. Number 3 is Cowboy Bebop. Again, I love Bebop. Don't get me wrong, I prefer Samurai Champloo if we're talking Watanabe Shinichiro, but regardless. This is another show that, again, I think there are more people in the West than in Japan that know who Cowboy Bebop is. You'd actually be quite surprised how few anime fans in Japan know what Cowboy Bebop is. This is one of the few rare shows that's definitely larger in the West than it is in Japan. So, all the more reason why I don't really think it's necessary to put on a show like this, or a list like this. Now in saying that, I'm not mad that it's up on this list. Same with Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I'm not mad that it's up on this list, because again, this isn't the 25 most underrated anime to watch. This is the 25 best anime to watch. And in terms of maybe for people who are just starting to get into anime, you know, maybe they've watched a couple of shows, shows like FMA, Cowboy Bebop, I think are great shows to watch. If Cowboy Bebop was like your second ever anime that you watched, or your 2000 anime you've ever watched, I think we can all agree that it's just as good, regardless of what period in your anime watching life you gave this show. I watched Cowboy Bebop way into when I was watching it, because I was too busy catching up on like the seasonal shit in the mid-2000s, and didn't really have enough time to go back and start exploring shows from the 90s that I missed out on, like Cowboy Bebop. But I still freaking love it. It's a classic for a reason. Again, has one of the best soundtracks ever. It literally put Yoko Kanno on the map in the West. And if a publication wants to put it at the number 3 best anime to watch, I'm not disappointed in that. I'm not disagreeing with it. Number 2 is Paranoia Agent. Holy fucking shit. Wasn't expecting that. A Paranoia Agent shout-out in 2026? What the fuck? You cannot have a conversation about the greats, the goats, the bests in the world of anime without mentioning the motherfucking goat, Satoshi Kon. That dude was only around for the short period of time that he was around, and rest in peace to the absolute goat. In that short period of time, this man made banger after banger after banger. And unfortunately, he was only around long enough to make one TV anime series, and that's this show right here, Paranoia Agent. When I first watched this show, again, same with like SEL, same with Wolf's Rain, my mind was fucking blown, because I'd already been familiar with Satoshi Kon's works through movies like Perfect Blue or Millennium Actress that came out before this show. So when this show came out, I was ecstatic. I was like, holy fuck, the Satoshi Kon making a TV anime? It's gotta be insane. And guess what? It fucking is. Though some have criticized the series for lacking logic, everything that happens in the series' back half is well foreshadowed and thematically rich. Paranoia Agent's critique of escapism was relevant in 2004, but comes across as prophetic decades later. Yes, absolutely. You know, much in the same way as SEL and Wolf's Rain is prophetic in their own ways. As Paranoia Agent, Satoshi Kon, I am guaranteed, I'm convinced, came from the future, because every single thing this man put to pen and paper was just so ahead of its time, and we did not deserve a genius like Satoshi Kon. So if you love your Perfect Blues, your Millennium Actresses, your Paprikas, and you haven't seen this show, do yourself a favor. Seriously. But Paranoia Agent at number 2. So what's number 1? Oh, it's Mob Psycho. Okay. Look, I'm not mad, but Mob Psycho is fucking fantastic. It is so goddamn good, and it's nice to see some positive news amidst all of the One Punch Man Season 3 shit that I have not talked about publicly, because who gives a fuck? But yes, Mob Psycho 100 is fucking incredible. It is such a good show, so well animated, so well written, some of the most diverse and just philosophically deep-rooted characters written in all of anime, I would argue. And to think that it all came from a web manga where the creator could barely draw a fucking stick figure is the most insane glow-up in anime ever. Now look, as much as I love Mob Psycho 100, is it the #1 best anime to watch? I don't know, to be honest. Again, I don't have the heart or the courage to make a list like that of my own, but Mob Psycho would definitely be in my top 25. I don't know if I would put it in the #1 spot, but its popularity since it came out has proven otherwise, and I think this show is definitely at this point now going to fall under one of those classics. But there you go. That was the Screen Rant's best anime to watch ranked. I'm just gonna say it outright. I think this is one of the best lists I've ever seen from an online publication talking about anime. Like, legitimately, other than a couple of misses, like, the Berserk, for instance, or, even Dragon Ball. I don't want to say it's a miss, but, it's misplacement, I would say. All of these shows that were talked about were all fucking fantastic. I've never seen a list this comprehensive in terms of what the fuck they're talking about. Like, you can tell these guys have watched so much anime, and they know the artistic value of some of these lesser talked about shows. Alright, let's go into the comments. Let me see this. This list is trash, no offense. No One Piece, no Yu Yu Hakusho, no Inuyasha, no Samurai Champloo, Gundam, no Conan, case closed. You had the nerve to add Pluto! Pluto was so boring. None of the new anime you add should be listed. Oh my god, this is the most brain-dead shit I've ever heard. As someone who's watched anime for 30 plus years, this list is an utter abomination. What about this list was an utter abomination? What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Did you only rewatch Dragon Ball for the past 30 years? Like, Jesus. Made an account just to call this list a bunch of BS? What about this was BS, dude? This was good. The fact that Yu Yu Hakusho isn't on the list invalidates the entire list. There would be no Hunter x Hunter without it. How does Yu Yu Hakusho not being on the list invalidate a Revolutionary Girl Utena being on there? Yu Yu Hakusho redefined fighting animes. Inuyasha is one of the best-selling series in all of Japan and is an anime staple. It doesn't mean that it's the most flawless story, though. Sailor Moon not being on the list is also shocking. Space Dandy, but not Samurai Champloo. The exclusion of Pokemon, which is the most Wait, Space Dandy wasn't on the list. Oh, wait. I just realized. You know what it is? This comment is from 2024. I see. They changed the list. They changed the fucking list! Yeah, they changed the list very recently. Okay, now I need to see what it was before this. Hang on. Okay, I went back on the Wayback Machine. I couldn't find anything that showed maybe different versions of this list. So if you have any idea of where I can find that and you'd like me to cover in a video, let me know. But either way, what's important right now, it doesn't matter what was on the list previously. As of right now, as of me recording this video, going onto this list, it looks like this. And you know what? I don't care how fucked the previous list was. This current list is great. This current list is so good. It shows so many cool series that are genuinely good, genuinely not talked about enough, and deserves the all of the praise that it gets for it being an artistic endeavor in the world of anime. And again, if you want to watch some shows that maybe you've never heard of, you want to expand your horizon on anime, any and all of these shows are amazing to watch. Except maybe Berserk. Go and read the manga for that. So there you go. Well done.
Okay, I should play a different game now.
Okay, so it seems like recently there's been a little bit of drama going down over on Twitter surrounding one VTuber being Shondo. Now, if you don't know, we've covered Shondo quite a bit on this channel regarding some of the hiatus stuff that happened, and also her talking about the fact that, you know, she didn't really want to pander to this kind of parasocial audience anymore, and that she was looking to kind of make that stop and stuff, because that is something that she's been very much known for. But this is something that has kind of come out recently, which was a post by Brittany Venti making a video essentially saying women are acting like children for male attention, and then they put up the YouTube video, and as you can see, yeah, it wasn't very well accepted. There was about 730,000 views and only 800 likes, which I think is pretty crazy, and we'll go into why a lot of that is and what people are kind of responding to this with. But essentially what the video goes into is two people, as you guys can see here, being Extra Emily and also Shondo, who yeah, obviously is the VTuber, which we're going to be kind of going into more, so we're not really going to be talking about the Extra Emily stuff. Again, I don't really care. It's not, you know, I'm not an Extra Emily fan, so yeah, I mean, that is essentially what the video is about. But essentially what they talk about in the case of Shondo, at least, was the fact that, you know, Shondo apparently makes significant money by acting like a toddler, including crying and using childlike mannerisms, which she actually labels as a felony amount of cringe. So obviously they're pointing out how cringy it is, how weird it is, and yeah, obviously it's supposed to be one of those videos just kind of, you know, highlighting the cringe factors of this and how they're making money off of it. Now, again, I don't really have any problem with people doing this. Like, me personally, I'm not gonna, you know, consume this content, right? Shondo and you know, Extra Emily's content isn't really for me, I'm gonna be honest. So again, I don't watch it, but as the same stuff goes for pretty much anything, yeah, especially in this space, I just don't interact with it, right? Well, I say I don't interact with it, I don't watch it. Of course, I'll still cover the news if it's still, you know, Shondo does something or whatever, or Extra Emily does something, of course. But yeah, in terms of actually watching content and consuming content, you know, Shondo just isn't really one that I really would watch, right? But I can understand that some people do watch it, and Shondo does appeal to a certain audience, right? And obviously, she goes into talking about the dangerous normalization, saying that they express concern over social media accounts featuring, you know, grown women using pacifiers and stuff, which again, I do agree is extremely weird. And they bring up clips, for example, like this one of Shondo, which I'll just quickly play.
Stop the clip. That is a criminal amount of cringe, a felony in this courtroom. Am I the only one who finds this absolutely insane?
Shondo, you're a cat. How can Bunny, wanna see something cool? Have to think really hard.
This is honestly way worse than subscribing to an OF girl. And she's...
So yeah, obviously this is what they're saying about it, and they, you know, are saying the fact that essentially it's cringe and they find it weird and whatever due to the way that she is acting, right? And again, I can understand that some people may not like that kind of content, and as I said, me personally, I don't like that kind of content either, but I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh my god, nobody can enjoy this at all, because at the end of the day, this is an adult on the other side of the screen, right? And I think that a lot of people have been bringing that up. But let's get into exactly what a lot of people are saying about this, because it gets even crazier. So a lot of the quotes here, obviously saying the big 29 is coming up. Ever enjoy the last year of your 20s, Brittany? See, bringing up her age. A lot of people saying, Venti, you're a PDF, which again, they were referring to a clip which did get community noted. It got put back to the rates again, but I think it probably will go back up again, which was one clip, an old clip of Brittany Venti, the one who made the video, talking to a child, right, over call or whatever, and this is essentially what went down, right?
Hello. Sorry, I was just adjusting.
And sorry, just to kind of give you a bit of context, she's like being like a priest or whatever. I'm pretty sure she's doing like what, confessions or something similar to that. She's essentially pretending to be a priest. That's why she's like showing this kind of, I forgot what it's called, the kind of collar, whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah, I'm weak.
Okay, so what do you come here to get rubbed? I mean, confess today. Hello, my child. My very cute child. You like that anime? I have a lot of anime back in my house. Not at God's house, but at my house.
Oh.
Yeah, God created anime. So I don't believe that children can sin, but would you like to confess your sins anyway? my child, don't be afraid of God. He is here for you. But not when I'm done with you. Yes, continue.
Our Lord and Savior.
I think that you sin by...
So yeah, obviously there was a couple of like sexual kind of jokes and whatever made there, right? And I think that is the main thing that people have kind of been pointing out, right? And a lot of people have been essentially saying that, hey, you know, this is a joke. And even Brittany does actually mention this underneath the post, saying the community note post in the clip was where I did a satirical bit as a priest character. Random viewers called in. You can see him wearing a priest collar. But of course, they want to take it out of context to try and discredit me. But I think the weird thing is, right, it's okay to make jokes like that about priests and whatever. I don't care, right? You can do that. And obviously there has been, you know, a lot of stuff that has gone on with priests in the past and that kind of thing going on, right? But I do think what is weird is still making these jokes while this child is on the call, right? Because you are making these jokes to a child. Sure, if you were to do it, you know, randomly to no one in particular, you're not harming anybody, but you are still making these jokes. Of course, you don't have any actual intent to do anything, but I still think exposing this obvious child that has kind of phoned in to your thing, it is, you know, kind of weird, right? I think it is still weird to be making those jokes around them. And yeah, maybe, yeah, sure, if you want to, like, you didn't want them on your stream, whatever, you boot them off and then you make the joke, sure. But the thing is, you're saying this actively to this child. Like, it doesn't matter if you're being satirical or not. You are still saying this to them, which I think is extremely odd and extremely weird. Now, obviously, it doesn't kind of indict them as a PDF or whatever. I don't think that is necessarily the case, but it's odd, right? It's very odd, and especially it's funny considering that, you know, they're doing odd things like this, but they're also calling out other odd things, which, you know, obviously kind of fall under the same category, right? Which I think, yeah, obviously a lot of people, including Rima, saying, not this again, wasn't Brittany gone? A lot of people saying, she said she was going to quit and focus on getting married. I guess her marriage quest failed. Said that was fast. Said not her again, we were doing so good without her presence. I said the Venti cycle begins again. We're soon headed to the VTuber community can't take criticism, so they just bully me instead stage. And obviously, yeah, a lot of people were saying they're mad about this clip, so now they want to silence me. Which again, I think is crazy because, you know, they're both clips that are in public domain, right? I feel like, you know, they're saying, oh, they want to silence me and they're mad about this, but I'm gonna be real, you know, this clip does look pretty bad on you as well. I mean, I think it is a pretty, you know, an interesting thing, right? People saying she doesn't even fake her voice though, her vocal cords are actually just short/small. When she deepens her voice, it's very obvious. She's widening it so it can't vibrate. That's why it's so breathy, creaky, and loses so much volume. She's literally just had less testosterone in her system growing up, which again, I don't know if that's the case. I've never kind of gone into Shondo's medical kind of history or whatever, but you know, that could be the case, right? There's a lot of people that do naturally have high voices as well, which could also be the case. Now, obviously, I think, you know, Shondo does lean into it quite a bit. I don't think that is anything to be denied, but you know, obviously, sometimes, you know, people say that she puts on a voice. That sometimes isn't always the case, right? A lot of people saying to the dumbass who can't stop thinking of children over a voice of a VTuber, didn't you talk sexual to someone underage at some point? You have no room to talk. And obviously, I don't know what this is. These are chat AI things. I'm unsure if I'm guessing they're saying these characters. I mean, they're not even real, so again, I don't care about that. But people said this retarded whore grifts for male attention more than any VTuber, saying you're getting old. Which, yeah, I think that's crazy. They said, you know what, you deserve all the negativity you'll get from this hornet's net you swung at. So yeah, obviously a lot of people not very happy, and people saying, you know, oof, that community note, which again, this was the video on the community note. And I think two things can be right at the same time, right? I think that, you know, people can find the behavior of Shondo weird, and I think that you're totally free to you know, think that, right? I don't think, you know, you have to necessarily be a super fan. I don't think you have to necessarily enjoy it, but I do think there is this kind of moment of respect in terms of just like, okay, well, people like what they like, you know, this is an adult doing this, so it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. And that's the kind of opinion that I have with a lot of things kind of similar to this, is that, you know, if I don't like it, I just won't consume it and I'll move on, right? And I think that is essentially the point, because, you know, what are you really gonna do with a video like this? You just gone, you know, Shondo's pretty cringe, and that's about it, right? And I think all that's kind of, you know, strung here is some actual kind of concerning behavior towards real people, right? Let's just be real here. Let's go into the facts, right? Shondo is an adult. A lot of our audience are adults, and again, you know, people that, you know, are interacting with that, that's totally fine, because Shondo is an adult at the end of the day. But this clip here, you're talking to a literal child, and you know, you are saying these kind of jokes towards them, which obviously a lot of people would find incredibly weird. If not, it's more concerning, because, you know, that is not an adult that is involved in that situation. You could maybe understand a joke like that a little bit better, and you know, it'd be okay to. But again, you are speaking to a child in this clip. I mean, there's no kind of beating around the bush, right? People say, hello chat, I skipped through. There is 2 to 3 minutes of wifey slander. People say Brittany Venti needs to shut up about VTubing. The broski, you're a PDF. That it's been 2 years, let it go. Obviously talking about like some IML stuff, some Gurgura stuff as well. And again, I do think it is pretty crazy. A lot of people say, you know, jealousy of VTubers is infinite. So yeah, many people are kind of talking about it. Now, again, as I said, I do think it is a kind of mixed bag here in terms of the reaction. I think a lot of people, you know, obviously are going against Brittany here because, again, of course, I think it is just stupid. I don't think there's any need to really go after Shondo. Again, I don't know exactly what she says about Extra Emily either. But again, also Extra Emily is an adult, right? She can do whatever she wants. And obviously, they're talking about the fact that, you know, they're doing it for male attention and that they're getting money off of it and that they find it weird that they're getting money off of that. But again, at the end of the day, people are people, and that's just gonna happen, right? And I mean, a lot of people maybe want to like argue with it and against it, whatever. But I don't think that kind of, you know, bringing hate to any of these people is exactly going to fix anything. And as I said, you know, Shondo has been making efforts to actually kind of, I guess, quell a lot of the parasocial and stuff behavior that has obviously been going on within her community recently, you know, following her hiatus and all of that kind of stuff too, which I do think is pretty interesting. Obviously, a lot of people have been, you know, kind of supporting her in the YouTube comments though. YouTube comments have been much more kind of, I guess, understanding of Brittany. But again, as I said, in terms of the Twitter post though, people have been, yeah, obviously not very happy at all. As I said, 700,000 views and 900 likes is just pretty insane, and the amount of quote retweets as well, it is crazy, right? And I think the main point that people are bringing up is mainly the hypocriticalness of this, especially with the jokes and stuff that they were making towards children, actual real children within the space, right? And again, at the end of the day, I don't really care about this. It's just like one of these dumb things where people will, you know, obviously go after VTubers or, you know, whatever, and vice versa. And yeah, I mean, it's just pretty stupid, right? I mean, it didn't really need to be a thing, but I guess it is. And a lot of people have pointed this out, and a lot of people pointed out this clip. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, I mean, that's about all I got for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameStop, use my code Kaza, get 10% off again. They've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.
Nice. What's the Markiplier situation?
Unemployed. I was gone for like a split second. You don't need music. Just stay alone with your thoughts. Think about your day. Did you take your medication? Did I take my medication? I might have not taken my medication. I might have forgotten.
Nice.
But now I can't remember. Anyways. It could be anything.
So they are mad he made a decent movie funded entirely by himself and made a profit.
I am so happy for him. It's so fucking based. Also, I'm taking my medication.
Hey, for the unemployed, Markiplier is in big trouble. Markiplier released this movie Iron Lung.
I want to see it. I want to see it. Put it up onto Prime. I wanna know. I wanna see it.
It's political.
Instead of going through Hollywood, he self-funded it. But the powers at be apparently removed him from the daily domestic chart despite his movie performing exceptionally well. This is hilarious. They took Iron Lung off the charts. I don't think they liked my #1 movie in America, Victory Lap.
Bro, you know why? Because that means that you can absolutely do a movie without Hollywood, and Hollywood doesn't want that. Everything has to go through Hollywood. Yeah, he did absolutely too well, and now he's dangerous. It's like, you know how there are like AAA games, and there are like the indies, and the indies are becoming slowly more popular than the AAA because all AAA is shite? It has to happen to Hollywood too. Everything that comes out of Hollywood is shite. We need indie people.
Haha. But really, it's all good. I fully expected Zen to help to pass the movie eventually, and I'm just so happy to be able to do this at all. So second place behind a legend is fine with me. Thank you all so much for making it such an unbelievable weekend. I couldn't be happier. So the movie that took his place is Melania.
Listen, no disrespect for our Slovenian queen, but come on, like... Really? Like a biography? She cannot be that interesting. Is she that interesting? I mean, she's just like... Wasn't she like a top model, and then she married for money, and now she tolerates Trump because money? It's slay.
A movie about Donald Trump's wife, and then nobody cares.
Was that the bite of 6-7?
Yeah, I think Hollywood is scared. A movie made by a YouTuber had a better turnout than their movies with overused actors. Your movie was great, Mark. Don't let anyone dim your sparkle. They don't want to admit that a YouTuber brought an independent film to theaters across...
I want to see it so bad. Bro, maybe that's the future. Maybe the future is that if you want to have an actual good gamer adaptation of like the games, you have to do it with indie. How cool that would be.
The planet on word of mouth alone, and not the traditional...
I want my secret. This is my wet dream. If I close my eyes, sometimes I haven't. It's a BioShock. Either TV show or a movie. But like actually good. Not like this like, hey, I never played BioShock, but I can totally add to the story. And it's like, no, but like an actual good one. You know? So good. The atmosphere. Oh, dude, it would be so good.
method of spelling billions to bribe them.
Yeah, I unironically don't think that there is a universe where they could nail it. I literally have no faith in them. The only... You know what was the last game adaptation that was actually pretty good? I like the Super Mario movies, but that's animation. I don't know if it counts. And I liked the first season of Fallout. It was pretty enjoyable to me. I think it's probably that. Because the new Silent Hill movie was ass. Sonic movies are great. Okay, hear me out. The second Sonic movie sucked ass because it was about the normal humans and the wedding, and I did not give a flying fuck about that. I wanted Sonic. I wanted Jim Carrey's character to go and fiddle with them. That's what I wanted. How is season 2 Fallout? I haven't watched that. I'm scared. What if it's bad?
They're also probably embarrassed how much money the film made and want to pretend it never happened.
How much
you know what?
did it
To be
make?
fair, YouTube movies were complete boot.
The thinning. Does it mean that it's about his hairline? The only smartest way to survive the thinning.
Booty cheeks before, like the Logan Paul movie. The budget to make Iron Lung was also reportedly around...
Imagine if Markiplier could team up with YouTube and they could put it up onto YouTube. After like it's out of cinemas. That would be so cool.
$3 million, which is very low compared to Hollywood standards. There is no denying that this movie was doing exceptionally well numbers-wise, but the reviews were mixed. There was a very large disparity between critic and audience reviews.
Okay, but critics are... I don't want to say gay because that's an insult to gay people, and I would never do that. But they are like fucking retards. Like, who cares about critics? Some of them are still sucking their thumb. They are just like absolute retards. You know? Yeah, like literally, unironically, if critics are downvoting something, I immediately think that the movie is good. Because it's just, oh, it doesn't align with the vibes. Or they just hate an actor or an actress. And they are just like, stupid.
Even Mr. Beast chimed in. Markiplier's Iron Lung earned 50% critic score and 90% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. What are your thoughts on the film, now playing exclusively in theaters?
Okay. But hear me out. So, what is he looking at? He's looking at Rotten Tomato, right? Rotten Tomato.
Yes. Very nice.
Iron Lung. And what was the other movie? The Melania? Okay. So... Oh, no, never mind. I forgot that of course the critics wouldn't like it because it's Trump's wife. And they hate Trump and they hate his wife. Oh, I forgot. Silly me. I was thinking that, oh, that's Hollywood movie. Surely I forgot. Silly me. I'm sorry. I forgot. The 89% is really good though. Cast and crew. Mark Edward Fishbach. Any other Mark? I know. I was silly. I don't. yeah. I know. How could I forget? Silly me.
This is the problem with Rotten Tomatoes. It's literally only 10 critics that gave it the 50%. The sample size is too small, and why I think the popcorn score is a better metric if you're trying to see if...
Also, who are these critics? Like, what makes a critique a critique? I guarantee you that 90% of the Rotten Tomato critics are fucking failures.
Something is worth watching, IMO. IMDb absolutely mugs. Hate to say it, but it's true. Again, for a debut YouTuber movie, 6.8 IMDb is an incredibly good score. The Melania movie had a 1.3.
Oh no.
Markiplier went live yesterday with a brief emergency meeting addressing everything.
First off, right now.
Oh no, he's crying. He just started to talk and he's crying.
Oh, as you're watching it,
oh,
guess
baby.
what? We're still the #1 movie in America.
He's touched at all the right places. Oh.
And
listen, what do you mean crying, making so much money? You don't think that Markiplier was already a millionaire? This is not about the money. This was his little passion project and it actually turned out amazing and he was just very proud of it. Oh.
Yeah. But not by much.
Jacksepticeye is actually a YouTube legend, man.
Of a feud with Disney, if we're going to be perfectly honest with ourselves.
Markiplier versus Disney is like PewDiePie versus T-Series.
I'm a blue-eyed white dragon while you just dark magician.
This morning, after I had learned that the Iron Lung was missing from the top charts, we were still #1 by 600,000.
Dude, that's just so embarrassing that they have to take an indie movie down to make themselves look better. God, I hate Hollywood. I hate these, like, entitled whores who are leading the entire vote. They are so pathetic. Oh my god.
I don't want to get all conspiratorial, but it does seem that Hollywood doesn't like independent indie movies.
What? No way. Surely it's not that they feel threatened by a movie that was made by a simple YouTuber. Nah. Well, what are you going to tell me next, huh? Huh? What? Just said, bro.
Being released. This guy said Markiplier was able to film this in a cave with a box of scraps. Disney, who's gonna stop me? Hello everyone, my name is Markiplier. It really doesn't matter if Iron Lung stays #1. The fact that an independent project could go toe-to-toe with a multi-million...
Wait, are they talking about the Melania movie? Is a Melania movie is like a multi-million-dollar movie or something. Isn't it just a fucking biopic? Like, it's insane. It's so inflated. I don't believe this must be like money laundering. Whenever you hear like crazy shit that, oh my god, this movie cost $400 million and shit like that, I'm like, huh? Oh, sorry, it's 40 million. Oh, just 40 million. For a Melania movie, what are you talking about? So far it made 7.
Whoa,
good. Good. If you're a retard and you don't know how to use your money, good. Get fucked.
$1 million company for even a day is amazing. And this story was going so crazy. Even
Also, let's be honest. Do we really need a documentary or a biography of Trump's 4th wife or something? I don't know how many he had. Like,
Yes.
I get it. She's the first lady right now, but like, I don't know. 40 million? I particularly don't really care what she does. You know? She must be dirt rich. She doesn't give 2 fucks about anything. She has to like, you know, disassociate once every few days when Trump visits home. And that's it. I don't want to know about that. I don't want to know any of it.
An internet Jesus chimed in.
When I say Hollywood, what's the first thing you think of?
It's okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, nice. Type. The type. Ball type. Nice. You know, ever since someone mentioned that muscular people look like they are stuck inside a muscular mecha and their shoulder sort of ends here and the rest of it is just a mecha suit, I cannot really unsee it. And it really greatly bothers me. You know? You're welcome. Well, yes, you're welcome. It is a Flash Gundam, and he can just come out. Now I see it too. You're welcome.
Iron Lung, which is Markiplier's debut film here, his directorial debut, has already done over $20 million in the box office and has been the #1.
Bro, 20 million. How much? Wait. Did they say how much did they spend on the movie? Do we know how much it cost? About 2-3 million? Bro, that's amazing. They usually say that if you make a movie, you have to get at least double, if not triple, because, you know, marketing and whatnot. But he didn't really have too much marketing. I feel like it was all carried by YouTube.
Has been the #1 movie through the weekend. These zombies at the top of the food chain probably don't like that a YouTuber just came in there and ate their lunch.
So the funny thing is, Markiplier himself didn't really think much of it when his movie got removed. He sort of wrote it off as a glitch. And then the next day it was still gone, and Markiplier was suspicious. You know, he suspected some foul play. Not to be political, but who the hell wants to watch a movie about a woman? What is she gonna...
Dear Vestia, that's not politics. You're just being misogynist. But it's okay. I will give you that. That's fair. I also do not give a flying fuck about the Melania movie. It's okay. Let the man have it.
Do the dishes? Anyway, jokes aside, Mr. Beast was incredibly supportive. Love it when people take a risk and it works out. Rooting for him. My channel strives up hatred.
This guy's channel runs on hatred.
But this is a very positive story.
Victory.
He's crying a lot, huh? He would be a really good e-girl. Unironically. We love a man who is in touch with his emotions. Very fucking based.
Just didn't think it was possible.
Don't talk to him. I would be like, Mark, please. I am emotionally very dented. Could you teach me how to express my emotions? I haven't cried in years. Please.
I just don't want you guys to ever think it's impossible. I watched Iron Lung. All I gotta say was the 15-minute scene with Jacksepticeye was a bit much, but I understand that it was important to the game's lore.
Oh. Yeah. I would like to watch
Unlock.
that.
Markiplier's Iron Lung
did I
removed from
miss?
box office charts. Returns making 7 times. NBC News. How
Wow.
a YouTuber's self-financed horror film became a surprise hit. The movie Send Help ended up topping Iron Lung with a $28 million
That's more than Rooster
debut,
Teeth
but
did.
$21 million for an indie film is incredible.
I have never heard about that movie. Send Help?
No, it's literally
Your true
going neck
purpose.
and neck
It goes
with a movie
far
with a
beyond the
$40
rim.
million production budget. The lead
Yeah.
role in The Hunger Games also gave Iron Lung a bit of a review. I have never seen this guy wear something other than a white shirt, man. This gotta be an imposter.
I enjoyed it. I don't think it's perfect or anything, but I do think it's a very, very strong debut here for a self-financed and distributed YouTuber movie.
And the reason I even brought this up is because Markiplier left a comment on this video. This is so nice of you, dude. I know I don't say it enough, or maybe ever, but I respect the hell out of you.
What's up with the music?
You taking a chance and speaking your mind on these projects
surreal.
has truly meant the world to me, and I know I can trust you'll always keep it real with your thoughts. I know it's got flaws, and I'm always grateful for an assist to stare them dead in the eye, but to say such nice things too. You don't know what that means to hear. I've never told
Florida BTW, that's why he's wearing PJs.
Ah. Do the Gators get PJs too? They are also cool, actually.
you this, but the Starforge PC you sent me was the first computer in my render farm and the best performing. Greatest PCs a gamer could buy. This is enough to make a grown man cry.
This movie sucks. Straight up, this movie is not good. Iron Lung, directed by Markiplier himself, is certainly one of the movies of all time. Who the fuck is that guy?
I'm sorry, bro, but you're alone on this one.
Yeah. Honestly. And your office is ugly. There, I said it.
And as much as I love Markiplier and everything that he's done for my life, holy shit, that movie sucks. For those of you who don't know, the movie Iron Lung is an adaptation of the actual game, Iron Lung. Now, I've never played Iron Lung.
Is this guy being a bit too abrasive? You know, I can't really judge here because I haven't seen the movie myself yet, but...
The only pros that I can really give this movie is the visual effects, and that's it. Everything else was low-key ass. I'm not gonna...
This guy must run off hatred too now. Let's get to some positivity and hear it from the horses.
I wanna watch this movie so bad. Please put it up onto Prime. I will buy it. Please. Let me watch it. I don't mind the low budget. I don't mind if it's slow. I want to see it. Oh my god. Do you know what would be amazing as movie adaptation? Please. Okay. Markiplier, hear me out. I already know what you have to do next.
Am I summoning something?
Soma. You can do it. You can absolutely do it. Please. Soma movie with Markiplier.
Turn to stone.
It would be so good. It would be fucking amazing. No, Soma is better because it requires less money and whatnot. It would be fucking amazing. It says cinemas in the Netherlands, but I'm not in the Netherlands. Ah! Now I need you to actually hit him up. I know. It would be so good. I don't think they... Wait. I will try to check. Do they have Iron Lungs? Iron Lungs Cinema... Switzerland. Sweet. I don't think so. I see it like that people wanted to get it a month ago on Reddit, but they do not have a film distributor in Switzerland. So, nope. Give it to me. Let me buy it. And then, Soma. I want it. Bro, Soma would be so good.
His mouth himself.
This is funny. This is...
Stop making me jealous. What do you mean you ordered a ticket in cinema?
It's on Friday. The box office numbers. I'm number one, right? I went through a lot. I said it. It was very funny. I knew that Sam Raimi's movie was going to pass me eventually by the end of the weekend. But I was like, haha, I'm number one. But then, I didn't see this yesterday, but here's Saturday. So this is Saturday, right? I swear I was on this list. But Iron Lung isn't here anymore.
They are jealous. They are so jealous. And he was still above it because even that day, it was 8 million for him. So it doesn't matter.
There's no numbers for Iron Lung. It took me off the chart. And I thought, hey, maybe that's a fluke. Maybe there's something wrong with it. So here's Sunday. I wake up this morning, which reports the day before his numbers. I'm gone. I'm not even above Hamnet. I'm nowhere. Zootopia's back up here. Avatar's up here. Melania's up here. I feel like I should just, like maybe I'd be fine with here. I'd be fine with being on the chart.
The fact that Melania is
They fucking erased the ban. What the fuck?
beating Avatar is the big.
Hollywood removed it because none of the actors in Iron Lung were diddlers. That's so true. I feel like that it's almost like you have to have it in your CV that I have done bad things, now make me famous. I have groped people's asses. I have made women comfortable. Please. I am like the other celebs, please.
Biggest crime here. Avatar fell off.
You have to diddle in your resume. Okay, come here. I'm gonna grab your ass, okay? And you will have to tell me how much you did not like it.
Hollywood, when they saw a YouTuber made more than their studios. Melania being up there just proves this list is rigged. This isn't even me making a statement. Who?
Like, honestly, who goes to the cinema to watch a movie about Melania? Like, no hate whatsoever, but... Really? Really? Like, if you watch it on, like, fucking Prime, and, like, you just put it on, and it's like you're washing the dishes, or you're folding the laundry, whatever. I've watched so many biographies that, you know, it's just whatever, but
Wants to watch a politics movie, bro. Imagine Joe Biden in theaters, or God forbid it.
And it's Joe Biden is just sleeping for 2.5 hours, just like.
Old Biden.
The rewards from burning your trophy and try to make something is just the unquenchable thirst to do it.
Is this an unwipeable tear? What is this? It's so glimmering, it's so shiny.
All over again, and that is great.
Reminds me of the book Crime and Punishment. Suffering is what makes life real. And yeah, I know, I'm really performative. I started reading before bed. Straight up drop me some...
Oh my god, he is reading before bed. Oh, dude, that's what I should be doing. Just be an intellectual, pick up a book. Definitely a little smurf and read the people up
book suggestions. Literally anything. Classics, philosophy, whatever. This isn't me trying to be gay or like virtuous or
Gentleman is reading a book. Reading a book.
something, but even 10 pages a night, it goes a long way. It'll compound and make your life better. Subscribe if my channel runs on hatred.
That's crass.
That's crass.
Massive day for the unemployed. People dug into CC's old...
Apparently, there were updates about the lady. Don't worry. Oh boy.
Tweets that it's not looking good. She even privated her whole...
Legend fat. Oh my god, did she? She privated her thingy?
Account. Oh, CC legit just racist? It's all making sense now. I don't like black people. And then...
Why would you say something like that on the internet? How? Seriously? In 2026? Bro!
And then people...
Oh no.
We gotta zoom in on this real quick and really analyze this character design. These straps right here are doing so much for this character. I gotta say, this is amazing. I want more of this. Give me more of this ZZZ. What I just said there was enough for people to advocate for my murder. You think I'm overreacting? I'm not. 2 days ago, I had police show up at my household saying that I was acting crazy, waving around a knife, threatening myself, threatening others. I was a danger to people around me. and this false call that was called in was obviously an attempt to end my life. Literally 2 days ago could have been the last day I was breathing on this planet if the police officers went into the situation without being calm or understanding that most likely something feels very off about the entire situation. If it was someone that was unprofessional, not trained, and didn't handle it right, I legitimately would be dead right now. And the reason for that is because of my opinions on anime characters, drawings, censorship, and just my personal beliefs. Apparently, me talking is enough to make someone so angry that they will have police come to my doorstep with a false call and potentially try to get a situation to where I either am thrown in prison or I die. That's crazy. That's actually crazy. And so in the spirit of spiting those that wish to silence me and wish to shut me up about these topics, I'm making a full-blown video talking about the lolly situation. So, I've been very vocal about this, especially a few days ago when I made the video talking about ZZZ in this character design, and how I think people are overreacting, it's just pixels, separate fiction from reality, you know, the typical stuff I've said on social media, and I've also implied in videos. But I want to take a few moments to really just talk about lolly as a whole, and kind of just how much the anime community has shifted from not just, let's say, the 2000s to the 90s to the 80s, but I'm strictly talking about the 2010s. Even in the 2010s, you had people, content creators, massive content creators, that looked at this type of stuff and didn't bat an eye, they didn't care. Hell, they even joked about it. And so let's go into, video number 1.
Here, we're doing the math now, and nothing, not even that lolly on the other page, is sexier than math.
This is a real clip from MatPat that he uploaded on his channel in the 2010s. And I will have a link to this video actually in the description for those that don't believe me or think this is AI generated. But MatPat was covering Sword Art Online, and he threw in this joke about lollies in the video. And if he was to make this same type of joke in the 2020s, the overall blowback, the slander, and harassment would be insane.
Yes.
And I'm willing to bet you, if MatPat was still making videos like front and center of videos, there's no way a joke like this would be put into one of his videos in the 2020s because of just the conversation around anime and manga. And I think we all know this. I've already talked about it, so I want to get around this very quickly. But the 2020s has led to a lot of people that really don't understand anime and manga culture, people that can't separate fiction from reality, infiltrating the culture, trying to change the culture, try to censor the culture, and also not being able to separate fiction from reality. And there's just also a lot of virtue signalers that has been thrown into the mix. And it's led to a situation where you can't have conversations about this, you can't make edgy comments or anything like that, funny jokes or anything, because people are not able to have a conversation around dark themes without getting all upset and feeling like they're getting attacked to some degree, even though it is fictional content. Mushoku Tensei is a very good example of this, of how people get so violently upset about MT, despite it just being a work of fiction. But let's get back into the topic. MatPat here made this back in the 2010s, and it is very obvious that it didn't bother him at all. He didn't care. He literally called a lolly character sexy. And I think that says enough about his statement or his stance on just how he's able to separate fiction from reality. Let's move on to the second clip. So before I play this clip, yes, this is Etika. May he rest in peace. He was a good man, a good content creator. He had a massive impact on the content creation space, and he is duly missed. I miss him a lot. I remember watching him, and I really wish I got to know him more before his passing. I wish I could have seen his content grow. The reason why I'm showing this clip is to showcase that despite everything that Etika went through and all the darkness that happened, even he was capable of separating fiction from reality. And so let's play this clip.
The video. It's a great video, but bro, where's that girl from? Now, that's a girl that I definitely have a couple of porn images saved on my computer. I've seen her a lot. There's a lot of good foot stuff with her too. But which character is this? I've never actually seen her before. I thought it was just like some fan-made character, but it's actually somebody from a show. Okay, figure that. And it's from something that's incest-worthy. What the fuck? Ero Manga Sensei? Really? I got hella porn of her, man.
They're even talking about lolly in this chat. I think you probably saw that. And you have people already trying to virtue signal right here in the bottom, but overall, content creators just did not give a fuck. They didn't care. They didn't care in the 2010s because the majority more or less, they were able to separate fiction from reality. But for some reason, when we shifted into the 2020s and there was a lot of virtue signalers that joined into the community, it caused this conversation to explode to where people started to self-censor themselves and even want to censor fiction that doesn't harm anyone, just pixels and everything. And it's very clear the conversation around it. And I really do wonder what would have happened if Etika was still around. Would he still make comments like this, or would he have been canceled for comments like this? I don't really know, but I wanted to show this clip just to showcase even Etika. He was able to separate fiction from reality. This right here is XQC. You might have seen this drama that popped up about 2 weeks ago. I believe Hirohei and even Rev covered this. But this clip showcases XQC himself playing a straight up a lolly game in VR, and I think it speaks enough. He clearly is also someone that is able to separate reality from fiction, but thanks to the time period, thanks to the 2020s and the conversation around these topics, his stance obviously is very different. I mean, look at his stance right here, pause the video and you can read it. It's very clear that there's a lot of content creators that are ashamed or try to distance from this, or even in general try to not even have a conversation about this because of just the amount of slander and risk to their very brand and also life, because you have people that cannot separate problematic fiction from reality. It's crazy, honestly.
Crazy.
And it's like, I've always made this statement, but just because something makes you uncomfortable, for instance, a fictional drawing or something, or a game, doesn't mean it shouldn't exist. It's uncomfortable, okay. If it makes you that uncomfortable, don't engage with the content, don't read it, don't watch it. It doesn't mean it shouldn't exist. It's like, you don't see this much pushback towards the content within Game of Thrones. There's a lot of screwed up content in the Game of Thrones books, by the way, not just in the TV shows. And for some reason, that gets a complete pass. Completely A-okay. But when it comes to anime, no. You can't have lolly characters or anything like that, or you need to be canceled, harassed, and potentially killed because of it.
Nice.
It's actually insane, the amount of virtue signaling around this topic, and how many people are trying to distance themselves from it to try to appease these individuals that are already schizos, that have, I'm gonna just be blunt, if you see a real person in a fictional drawing or game, I think you have a mental illness. I'm just gonna be honest, I think you do. I would also like to remind everybody, back in the 2010s, almost every massive content creator was doing live reactions to Boku no Pico. Now, if you don't know what that is, recommend someone that's ever watched anime to watch that. That was a typical meme.
Funny.
If someone was asking for recommendations of an anime or manga, someone would recommend them Boku no Pico. And here's the crazy part about this entire conversation. PewDiePie reacted to it. I know, like, a bunch of different ones, like Giga reacted to it, Anime Man reacted to it. There was a lot of, like, massive content creators in the space that I think have privated their videos since then. They might be archived somewhere. But there's a lot of content creators in the 2010s that were just straight up reacting to Boku no Pico. It was trending. It was a cultural phenomenon. It was like a big trend in the YouTube space to react to that or talk about it. And here's the big thing about this. It's very obvious that, once again, these content creators were able to separate fiction from reality. But because of the time period, and because of these schizos that have pushed people to be scared, they're not speaking up anymore. People are scared. They're scared of being harassed, slandered, their image completely tarnished because of fictional characters. And I've already talked about this already, but I'm just going to say a little bit more of a stronger stance. I've already had my life threatened at this point. People have tried to end my life. They've tried to ruin my career, throw my face in the mud, call me all sorts of crazy things like I'm doing absolute insane things. At this point, I'm just going to be spiteful. I believe in my stances, but now I'm going to push them a lot harder. I'm going to be spiteful and push what I believe in a lot harder. If you're trying to silence me, no, it's not working like that. It doesn't, I'm not going to be silenced out of fear and people trying to come after me for that. So, no, it's sad that a lot of these content creators are very scared to speak up and make these jokes anymore, because it's clear that they don't really believe in this type of stuff. It's more about optics, and they don't want to be associated with this because they're concerned on the backlash that the communities will have towards them. And it's basically the exact same thing with certain conversations, difficult conversations within politics. And I know people don't want to hear about that, but it's the actual truth. Which reminds me, all this virtue signaling that people do that have tried to end my life, so to speak, it's funny that someone would waste all these police resources to come after me, or this time with other content creators or fictional characters, when there's literally the Epstein files that have been released this week, and has been an absolute bombshell within the internet space. And so many conspiracy theorists and stuff are being, like, vindicated by some of the stuff that's been revealed within these Epstein files. And it's crazy that, despite actual victims and people having issues in real life and still not having any justice with these victims, people are more focused on fictional characters. You notice how disgusting that is? It goes back to the whole circle of virtue signaling. It's not about caring about real people. It's about making yourself look good. That's it. That's it. And here's the thing. My image has already been destroyed. It has. People, you know, already know what they want to think about me online. And the people that are here already know how I am. They know the truth. And that's the point of the matter here. Is that, like, why would I want to do optics and censor myself for people that want me dead? Nah. Not happening. But also showcasing that they don't even care about the things that they try to fight for, because they're not trying to advocate and talk about what's going on in the Epstein files. They care more about a fictional character in ZZZ than anything in that. Really goes to show where our society has went. And this is why I...
May not be fast.
There is a potential workaround for expensive hardware. Older hardware. The Ryzen 7 5800X, an AMD CPU from like 5 years ago, has just hit the #1 spot as the top selling CPU on Amazon in the UK. And even older CPUs, or even older GPUs,